So Oleksandr Usyk recently appeared on ESPN with his manager Klimas, and in this interview, he said that Tyson Fury is scared to fight him. Now, for me, it's not a question of whether Tyson Fury is scared to fight Oleksandr Usyk, because I don't think that's something that has really been proven at this stage. For me, it's more about whether Oleksandr Usyk really believes that Tyson Fury is scared to fight him. I suspect that he doesn't. I suspect that Oleksandr Usyk is on a wind-up here, and he's trying to give Tyson Fury a taste of his own medicine, because this is the kind of thing that Tyson Fury usually says about his opponents, even when, at least from my perspective, he doesn't always believe it. So this is interesting to me because I don't recall anyone in the past giving Tyson Fury a taste of his own medicine the way that Oleksandr Usyk is, at least from my perspective. And it's going to be interesting to see, if the fight gets made between the two, how that plays out psychologically. Whether Tyson Fury is unnerved by that, and look, it's very difficult to unnerve and unsettle Tyson Fury, we get that. But there have been in the past fighters who are masters of the mental stuff, the mind games, that at some point in their careers have it turned on them, and they get flustered and frustrated because now all of a sudden they've met their match from a mind game perspective. I remember when, I wasn't born, but I grew up watching Muhammad Ali's fights. And when he went into the Oscar Bonavena fight, that was before he fought Joe Frazier the first time, that was probably the first L that Ali took in terms of a verbal altercation with an opponent. Oscar Bonavena got under Ali's skin, wound him up. And even though Ali won the fight and Bonavena was a difficult opponent, Ali won the fight. He stopped Bonavena, I think, in the 14th or 15th round. It was tough. And, Ali really wanted to hurt the guy and maybe would have performed a bit better if he hadn't allowed Bonavena to get to him to the extent that he did. And, you could reel off other examples. I mean, Chris Eubank Sr. was a guy that liked all the mind games and winding opponents up and all that kind of thing. But when he encountered Steve Collins, it completely was a role reversal. Eubank was psyched out by Steve Collins. Steve Collins got to him. Whether Steve Collins was trying to get to him or not, I mean, I can't remember what Steve Collins said when they had that round table discussion on Sky, whether he said he was deliberately trying to get to him psychologically or not. But either way, he seemed to get to him psychologically in both fights. So, that is what can happen when a fighter who relies on a psychological aspect has it flipped on them, because certain fighters don't really rely on it as much. They're not interested in trying to get a psychological edge and all this kind of thing. They just want to go in there and do their job. So those fighters, in a lot of cases, it doesn't really matter to them what the opponent is doing or how the opponent is thinking in the run up to a fight, because they're not interested in that. They're just going to go in there and do what they do. But for fighters who become reliant on it, I mean, some people would say Mike Tyson became overly reliant on intimidating opponents. And that kind of backfired because, again, when he's in there with someone who's not intimidated, all of a sudden he feels flustered because this guy is fighting with heart and courage and bravery, and he's giving it back to him, and he's not intimidated by the power, and he's pushing him back, all that kind of thing. Now, of course, Tyson Fury, even though he shares a name, he was named after Mike Tyson. He has that name, but obviously he's not that kind of fighter. He's shown a lot more vulnerability during his unbeaten reign than Mike Tyson did. He's obviously been down several times, and he's had at least one contentious decision. Obviously, he had the draw with Deontay Wilder, but he had that contentious decision early in his career against John McDermott, the first fight. Whereas Mike Tyson, it was a clean slate up until the Buster Douglas fight, right? That was his 10th defense of the title. So, it's not like a one-to-one comparison between Tyson Fury and Mike Tyson. But either way, it could be possible that Tyson Fury is a little reliant on winding people up. And we'll see. Again, I'm interested to find out how it plays out between Oleksandr Usyk and Tyson Fury, the mental games and the most important thing, the fight in the ring. Now, there's a lot of Tyson Fury fans out there saying that we should forgive him for the Derek Chisora fight because of the fact that the Oleksandr Usyk fight is absolutely locked in for whenever it is, March 2023. The problem with that is it's not true. A fight being locked in is a fight that is actually signed. Pen to paper, official announcement. That's a locked in fight. And even then, of course, the fight could not happen because of an injury or someone pulls out for whatever reason. We know that. But to be able to say a fight's locked in, pen needs to be put to paper. That's locked in. Contracts, official announcements, that's locked in. This is not locked in. It's just talks at the moment. How many times have we heard talks for big fights, particularly in the heavyweight division? I mean, even with the welterweights, Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, yeah, talks. But until there's a signed contract, how can you say it's locked in? It's nonsense. So as it stands right now, it's not locked in. And Tyson Fury is just fighting Derek Chisora. Who knows who he's going to fight next? Hopefully, it is Oleksandr Usyk. And again, I'll be fascinated to find out how it plays out. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you're tired of the biased narratives and mass censorship on mainstream platforms, and you want to be part of a community of critical thinkers who love free speech just as much as you do, then come and join me on Patreon and access my weekly no-holds-barred, censorship-free podcast where we lift the lid on a wide variety of controversial topics. It's not mainstream friendly, it's not politically correct, but that's the whole point. We dare to stand as a beacon of reason against an army of insanity. Just head on over to my Patreon page and select the tier called Hatman Hot Topics. You'll gain access to a minimum of 2 hours of exclusive content every single week, including podcasts, videos, interviews, live stream Q&As, as well as my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. Not to mention a vast back catalog of hundreds of hours of previous episodes. You can listen via the Patreon app with the option to download in high quality MP3. We've also got an Element group where you can come and chat and hang out with myself and other members. Unlike Discord, it has full end-to-end encryption, is decentralized, and it's 100% censorship free. You can also send voice notes as well as much larger audio and video files than you can on Discord. So come and sign up on Patreon. There's no contract, there's no commitment, you can cancel at any time, and it's cheaper than a cup of coffee. So I'll see you over there. I'm out.